Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read 2 Kings 4-8, Psalm 122, and Proverbs 4. Let's get started. 2 Kings 4-8. The wife of a man from the group of the prophets cried out to Elisha. She said, "My husband is dead. You know how much respect he had for the Lord, but he owed money to someone. And now that person is coming to take my 2 boys away. They will become his slaves." Elisha replied to her, "How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?" "I don't have anything there at all," she said. "All I have is a jar of olive oil." Elisha said, "Go around to all your neighbors. Ask them for empty jars. Get as many as you can. Then go inside your house. Shut this door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars. As each jar is filled, put it over to one side." The woman left him. Then she shut the door behind her and her sons. They brought the jars to her, and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she spoke to another of her sons. She said, "Bring me another jar." But he replied, "There aren't any more left." Then the oil stopped flowing. She went and told the man of God about it. He said, "Go and sell the oil. Pay what you owe. You and your sons can live on what is left." One day Elisha went to the town of Shunem. A rich woman lived there. She begged him to stay and have a meal. So every time he came by, he stopped there to eat. The woman said to her husband, That man often comes by here. I know that he is a holy man of God. Let's make a small room for him on the roof. We'll put a bed and a table in. We'll also put a chair and a lamp in. Then he can stay there when he comes to visit us." One day Elisha came. He went up to his room and lay down there. He said to his servant Gehazi, "Go and get the woman from Shunem." So he did. He stood in front of Elisha. He said to Gehazi, "Tell her, you have gone to a lot of trouble for us. Now what can we do for you? Can we speak to the king for you? Or can we speak to the commander of the army for you?" She replied, "I live among my own people. I have everything I need here." After she left, Elisha asked Gehazi, "What can we do for her?" Gehazi said, "She doesn't have a son, and her husband is old." Then Elisha said, "Bring her here again." So he did. She stood in the doorway. "You will hold a son in your arms," Elisha said. "It will be about this time next year." "No, my master," she objected. "You are a man of God. Please don't lie to me." But the woman became pregnant. She had a baby boy. It happened the next year about that same time. That's exactly what Elisha had told her would happen. The child grew. One day he went out to get his father. His father was with the people who were gathering the crops. The boy said to his father, "My head hurts. It really hurts." His father told his servant, "Carry him to his mother." The servant lifted up the boy. He carried him to his mother. The boy sat on her lap until noon. Then he died. She went up to the room on the roof. There she laid him on the bed of the man of God. Then she shut the door and went out. Then she sent for her husband. He said, "Please send me one of the servants and a donkey. Then I can go quickly to the man of God and return." "Why do you want to go to him today?" he asked. "It isn't the time for the new moon feast. It isn't the Sabbath day. Don't let that bother you," she said. She put a saddle on her donkey. She said to her servant, "Let's go. Don't slow down for me unless I tell you to." So she started out. She came to Mount Carmel. That's where the man of God was. When she was still a long way off, he saw her coming. He said to his servant Gehazi, "Look, there's the woman from Shunem. ran out there to meet her. Ask her, "Are you all right? Is your husband all right? Is the child all right?" "Everything is all right," she said. She came to the man of God at the mountain. Then she took hold of his feet. Gehazi came over to push her away. But the man of God said, "Leave her alone. She is suffering terribly. But the Lord hasn't told me the reason for it. He has hidden it from me." "My master, did I ask you for a son?" she said. "Didn't I tell you, don't make me hope for something that won't happen?" Elisha said to Gehazi, "Tuck your coat into your belt. Take my walking stick and run to Shunem. Don't say hello to anyone you see. If anyone says hello to you, don't answer. Lay my walking stick on the boy's face." But the child's mother said, "I won't leave you. And that's just as sure as the Lord and you are alive." So Elisha got up and followed her. Gehazi went on ahead. He had Elisha's walking stick on the boy's face, but there wasn't any sound. The boy didn't move at all. So Gehazi went back to Elisha. He told him the boy wasn't awakened. Elisha arrived at the house. The boy was dead. He was lying on Elisha's bed. Elisha went into the room. He shut the door. He was alone with the boy. He prayed to the Lord. Then Elisha got on the bed. He lay down on the boy. His mouth touched the boy's mouth. His eyes touched the boy's eyes. And his hands touched the boy's hands. As Elisha lay on the boy's body grew warm. Elisha turned away. He walked back and forth in the room. Then he got on the bed again. He lay down on the boy once more. The boy sneezed 7 times. After that, he opened his eyes. Elisha sent for Gehazi. He said to him, "Go and get the woman from Shunem." So he did. When she came, Elisha said, "Take your son." She came in and fell at Elisha's feet. She bowed down with her face toward the ground. Then she took her son and went out. Elisha returned to Gilgal. There wasn't enough food to eat in that area. The group of prophets was meeting with Elisha. So he said to his servant, "Put the large pot over the fire. Cook some stew for these prophets." One of them went out into the fields to gather herbs. He found a wild vine and picked some of its gourds. He picked as many as he could fit in his coat. Then he cut them up and put them into the pot of stew. But no one knew what they were. The stew was poured out for the men. They began to eat. But then they cried out, "Man of God, the food in that pot will kill us." They couldn't eat it. Elisha said, "Get some flour." He put it in the pot. Serve it to the men to eat. Then there wasn't anything in the pot that could harm them. A man came from Baal Shalisha. He brought the man of God 20 loaves of barley bread. They had been baked from the first grain that had ripened. The man also brought some heads of new grain. "Give this food to the people to eat," Elisha said. "How can I put this in front of 100 men?" his servant asked. But Elisha answered, "Give it to the people to eat. Do it because the Lord says, they will eat and have some left over." Then the servant put the food in front of them. They ate it and had some left over. It happened just as the Lord had said it would. Naaman was army commander of the king of Aram. He was very important to his master and was highly respected. That's because the Lord had helped him win the battle over Aram's enemies. He was a brave soldier, but he had a skin disease. Groups of soldiers from Aram had marched out. They had captured a young girl from Israel. She became a servant of Naaman's wife. The young girl spoke to the woman she was serving. She said, "I wish my master would go and see the prophet who was in Samaria. He would heal my master of his skin disease." Naaman went to see his own master. He told him what the girl from Israel had said. "I think you should go," the king of Aram replied. "I'll give you a letter to take to the king of Israel." So Naaman left. He took 750 pounds of silver with him. He also took 150 pounds of gold. And he took 10 sets of clothes. He carried the letter to the king of Israel. It said, I'm sending my servant Naaman to you with this letter. I want you to heal him of the skin disease. The king of Israel read the letter. As soon as he did, he tore his royal robes. He said, Am I God? Can I kill people and bring them back to life? Why does this fellow send someone to me to be healed of a skin disease? He must be trying to pick a fight with me. Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his robes. So he sent the king a message. Elisha said, Why have you torn your robes? Tell the man to come to me. Then he will know there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman went to see Elisha. He took his horses and chariots with him. He stopped at the door of Elisha's house. Elisha sent a messenger to him. The messenger said, Go, wash yourself in the Jordan River 7 times. Then your skin will be healed. You will be pure and clean again. But Naaman went away angry. He said, I was sure Elisha would come out to me. I thought he would stand there and pray to the Lord his God. I thought he would wave his hand over my skin. Then I would be healed. And what about the Abana and Pharpar rivers of Damascus? Aren't they better than all the rivers of Damascus? Can I wash in the rivers of Damascus and be made pure and clean? So he turned and went away. He was very angry. Naaman's servants went over to him. They said, You are like a father to us. What if Elisha the prophet had told you to do some great thing? Wouldn't you have done it? But he only said, Wash yourself. Then you will be pure and clean. You should be even more willing to do that. So Naaman went down to the Jordan River. He dipped himself in it 7 times. He did exactly what the man of God had told him to do. Then his skin was made pure again. It became clean like the skin of a young boy. Naaman and all his attendants went back to the man of God. Naaman stood in front of Elisha. Naaman said, Now I know that there is no God anywhere in the whole world except in Israel. So please accept a gift from me. The prophet answered, I serve the Lord. You can be sure that he lives. And you can be just as sure that I won't accept a gift from you. Even though Naaman begged him to take it, Elisha wouldn't. I can see that you won't accept a gift from me, said Naaman. But please let me have some silver from your land. Give me as much as a pair of mules can carry. Here's why I want it. I won't ever bring burnt offerings and sacrifices to any other god again. I bring them only to the Lord. I worship him on his own soil. But here's one thing I hope the Lord will forgive me for. I hope from time to time my master will enter the temple to bow down to his god Rimmon. When he does, he'll lean on my arm. Then I'll have to bow down there also. I hope the Lord will forgive me for that. Go in peace, Elisha said. Naaman started out on his way. Gehazi was the servant of Elisha, the man of God. Gehazi said to himself, My master was too easy on Naaman from Aram. He should have accepted the gift Naaman brought. I'm going to run after him. I'm going to get something from him. And that's just as sure as the Lord is alive. Gehazi hurried after Naaman. Naaman saw him running toward him. So he got down from the chariot to greet him. Is everything all right? He asked. Everything is all right, Gehazi answered. My master sent me to say, 2 young men from the group of the prophets have just come to me. They've come from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them 75 pounds of silver and 2 sets of clothes. I wish you would take twice as much silver, said Naaman. He begged Gehazi to accept it. Then Naaman tied up 150 pounds of silver in 2 bags. He also gave Gehazi 2 sets of clothes. He gave all of it to 2 of his own servants. They carried it ahead of Gehazi. Gehazi came to the hill where Elisha lived. Then the servants handed the things over to Gehazi. He put them away in Elisha's house. He sent the men away, and they left. Then he went back inside the house. He stood in front of his master, Elisha. Gehazi, where have you been? Elisha asked. I didn't go anywhere, Gehazi answered. But Elisha said to him, Didn't my spirit go with you? I know that the man got down from his chariot to greet you. Is this the time for you to accept money or clothes? Is it the time to take olive oil, olive groves, vineyards, flocks, or herds? Is it the time to accept male and female slaves? You and your children after you will have Naaman's skin disease forever. Then Gehazi left Elisha, and he had Naaman's skin disease. His skin had become as white as snow. The group of the prophets said to Elisha, Look, the place where we meet with you is too small for us. We would like to go to the Jordan River. Each of us can get some wood there. We want to build a place there for us to meet. Elisha said, Go. Then one of them said, Will you please come with us? I will, Elisha replied. And he went with them. They went to the Jordan River. There they began to cut down trees. One of them was cutting down a tree. The iron blade of his axe fell into the water. Oh no, master, he cried out. This axe was borrowed. The man of God asked, Where did the blade fall? He showed Elisha the place. Then Elisha cut a stick and threw it there. That made the iron blade float. Take it out of the water, he said. So the man reached out and took it. The king of Aram was at war with Israel. He talked things over with his officers. Then he said, I'm going to set up my camp in a certain place. Elisha, the man of God, sent a message to the king of Israel. Elisha said, Try to stay away from that place. Aram's army is going to be down there. The king of Israel checked on the place the man of God had told him about. Time after time, Elisha warned the king. So the king was on guard in those places. All of that made the king of Aram very angry. He sent for his officers. He said to them, Tell me, which of us is on the side of the king of Israel? You are my king and master, said one of his officers. None of us is on Israel's side. But Elisha is a prophet in Israel. He tells the king of Israel even the words you speak in your own bedroom. Go and find out where he is, the king ordered. Then I can send my men and capture him. The report came back. The officer said, He is in Dothan. Then the king sent horses and chariots and a strong army there. They went at night and surrounded the city. The servant of the man of God got up the next morning. He went out early. He saw that an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. Oh no, my master, the servant said. What can we do? Don't be afraid, the prophet answered. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. Elisha prayed, Lord, open my servant's eyes so that he can see. Then the Lord opened his eyes. Elisha's servant looked up and saw the hills. He saw that Elisha was surrounded by horses and chariots made of fire. Aaron's army came down toward Elisha. Then he prayed to the Lord, Make these soldiers blind. So the Lord made them blind, just as Elisha had prayed. Elisha told him, This isn't the right road. This isn't the right city. Follow me. I'll lead you to the man you are looking for. He led them to Samaria. They entered the city. Then Elisha said, Lord, open the eyes of these men. Help them see again. Then the Lord opened their eyes. They looked around, and they were inside Samaria. The king of Israel saw them. So he asked Elisha, Should I kill them? I need your advice. You are like a father too. Should I kill them? Don't kill them, he answered. Would you kill people you have captured with your own sword or bow? Put some food and water in front of them. Then they can eat and drink. They can go back to their master. So the king of Israel prepared a great feast for them. After they had finished eating and drinking, he sent them away. They returned to their master. So the groups of fighting men from Aram stopped attacking Israel's territory. Sometime later, Ben-Hadad gathered his entire army together. Ben-Hadad was the king of Aram. His army marched up and surrounded Samaria. Then they attacked it. There wasn't enough food anywhere in the city. It was surrendered for certain that the people had to weigh 2 pounds of silver for a donkey's head. They had to weigh out 2 ounces of silver for half a pint of seed pods. One day, the king of Israel was walking on top of the city wall. A woman cried out to him, "You are my king and master. Please help me." The king replied, "If the Lord doesn't help you, where can I get help from you? From the threshing floor? From the winepress?" He continued. "What's wrong?" She answered, "A woman said to me, 'Give up your son, then we can eat him today. Tomorrow we'll eat my son.' So we cooked my son, then we ate him. The next day I said to her, 'Give up your son, then we can eat him.' But she had hidden him." When the king heard the woman's words, he tore his royal robes. As he walked along the wall, the people looked up at him. They saw that under his robes he was wearing the rough clothing people wear when they're sad. He said, "I'll cut the head of Shepherd's son Elisha off his shoulders today. If I don't, may God punish me greatly." Elisha was sitting in his house. The elders were sitting there with him. The king went to see Elisha. He sent a messenger on ahead of him. Before the messenger arrived, Elisha spoke to the elders. He said, "That murderer is sending someone here to cut off my head. Can't you see that? When the messenger comes, close the door. Hold it shut against him. Can't you hear his master's footsteps right behind him?" Elisha was still talking to the elders when the messenger came down to him. The king also arrived. He said, "The Lord has sent this horrible trouble on us. Why should I wait any longer for him to help us?" Elisha replied, "Listen to a message from the Lord. He says, about this time, tomorrow, flour won't cost very much. Even 12 pounds of the finest flour will cost less than half an ounce of silver. You will be able to buy 20 pounds of barley for the same price. That's all you will have to pay for those things at the gate of Samaria." The king was leaning on an officer's arm. The officer spoke to the man of God. The officer said, "Suppose the Lord opens the sky and pours down food on us. Even if he does, would what you are saying really happen?" "You will see it with your own eyes," answered Elisha. "But you won't eat any of it." There were 4 men who had skin disease. They were at the entrance of the gate of Samaria. They said to one another, "Why should we stay here until we die? Suppose we say, 'We go into the city. There isn't any food there, and we'll die. But if we will stay here, we'll die anyway. So let's go over to Aram's army camp. Let's give ourselves up. If they spare us, we'll live. If they kill us, we'll die." At sunset, they got up and went to Aram's army camp. They arrived at the edge of it, but no one was there. The Lord had caused the soldiers of Aram to hear a noise. It sounded like chariots and horses and a huge army. So the soldiers said to one another, "Listen, the king of Israel has hired the Hittite and Egyptian kings. He's paid them to attack us." So the soldiers of Aram had run away at sunset. They had left their tents and horses and donkeys behind. They had left their camp just as it was, and they had run for their lives. The men who had a skin disease arrived at the edge of the camp. They entered one of the tents. They ate and drank. Then they took silver, gold, and clothes. They went off and hid them. They returned and entered another tent. They took some things from it and hid them also. But then they said to one another, "What we're doing isn't right. This is a day of good news, and we're keeping it to ourselves. If we wait until sunrise, we will be punished. Let's go at once. Let's report this to the royal palace." So they went. They called out to the people who were guarding the city gates. They told them, "We went into Aram's army camp. No one was there. We didn't hear anyone. The horses and donkeys were still tied up. The tents were left just as they were." The people who guarded the gates shouted the news. It was reported inside the palace. The king of Israel got up and went out. He spoke to his officers. He said, I'll tell you what the men of Aram have done to us. They know we are very hungry, so they have left the camp to hide in the countryside. They are thinking, we'll come out. We are sure they'll come out. Then we'll take them alive, and we'll get into the sea. One of the king's officers said, a few horses are still left in the sea. Have some men get fighting. Those men will be worse off than all the other Israelites who are left here. In fact, all of us will soon be dead anyway. So let's send the men to find out what happened. The men chose 2 chariots and 5 horses. The king sent them out to look for Aram's army. He commanded the driver, go and find out what has happened. They followed the trail of Aram's soldiers all the way to the Jordan River. They found frozen supplies all along the road. The soldiers had burned them down when they ran away. So the men who were sent out returned. They reported to the king what they had seen. Then the people went out of the city. They took everything of value from Aram's army. So 12 pounds of the finest gold for less than half of an ounce of silver, and 20 pounds of barley sold for the same price. That's exactly what the Lord had said would happen. The king had put an officer in charge of the city gate. He was the officer on whose arm the king leaned. On their way out of the city, the people knocked the officer down. In the entrance of the gate, he was crushed as they walked on top of him. And so he died. That's exactly what the man of God had said would happen. He had said that when the king came down to his house. What Elisha, the man of God, had told the king came true. Elisha had said, about this time tomorrow flour won't cost very much. Even 12 pounds of the finest flour will cost less than half an ounce of silver. You'll also be able to buy 20 pounds of barley for the same price. That's all you'll have to pay for those things at the gate of Samaria. The officer had spoken to the man of God. The officer had said, suppose the Lord opens the sky and pours down food on us. Even if he does, could what you are saying really happen? The man of God had replied, you'll see it with your own eyes, but you won't eat any of it. And that's exactly what happened to the officer. On their way out of the city, people knocked him down. In the entrance of the gate, he was crushed as they walked on top of him. And so he died. Chapter 8. Elisha had brought a woman's son back to life. He had said to him, go away with your family. Stay for a while anywhere you can. The Lord has decided that there won't be any food in the land. That will be true for 7 years. The woman did just as the man of God told her to. She and her family went away. They stayed in the land of the Philistines for 7 years. The 7 years passed. Then she came back from the land of the Philistines. She went to the king of Israel. She wanted to ask him to get a house and land. The king was talking to Gehazi. Gehazi was the son of the man of God. The king had said, tell me about all the good things Elisha has done. Gehazi was telling the king how Elisha had brought a dead boy back to life. Just then the woman came to ask the king to get her house and land back. She was the woman whose son Elisha had brought back to life. Gehazi said, King Jordan, this is the woman I've been telling you about, and this is her son. He's the one Elisha brought back to life. The king asked the woman about her house and land, and she told him. Then he appointed an official to look into her case. The king told him, give her back everything that belonged to her. That includes all the money that was earned from the land. It was earned from the day she left the country until now. Elisha went to Damascus. Then Hadad was sick. He was king of Aram. The king was told, the man of God had come all the way up here. Then the king said to Hazael, take a gift with you. Go and see the man of God. Ask him for the Lord's advice. Ask him whether I will get well again. Hazael went to see Elisha. Hazael took 40 camels with him as a gift. The camels were loaded with all the finest goods of Damascus. Hazael went into Elisha's house and stood in front of him. Hazael said, Ben-Hadad has said, he is the king of Aram. He asked, "Will I get well again?" Elisha answered, "Go and tell him, yes, you'll get well again, but the Lord has shown me that he will in fact die." Elisha stared at him without looking away. He did until Hazael felt uncomfortable. Then the man of God began to weep. "Why are you weeping?" asked Hazael. "Because I know how much harm you will do to the people of Israel," Elisha answered. "You'll set fire to their cities that have high walls around them. You'll kill the young men with your swords. You'll smash the little children on the ground. You'll rip open their pregnant women." Hazael said, "How could I possibly do a thing like that? I'm nothing but a dog. I don't have that kind of power." "You will become king of Aram," Elisha answered. "That's what the Lord has shown me." Then Hazael left Elisha and returned to his master. Ben-Hadad asked, "What did Elisha say to you?" Hazael replied, "He told me you would get well again." But the next day Hazael got a thick cloth. He soaked it in the water. He spread it over the king's face. He hid it there until the king died. Then Hazael became the next king after him. Jehoram began to rule as king over Judah. It was in the 5th year that Joram was king of Israel. Joram was the son of Ahab. Jehoram was the son of Jehoshaphat. Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king. He ruled in Jerusalem for 8 years. He followed the ways of the kings of Israel. Just as the royal family of Ahab had done. In fact, he married a daughter of Ahab. Jehoram did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. But the Lord didn't want to destroy Judah. That's because the Lord had made a covenant with his servant David. The Lord had promised to keep the way of David's kingdom burning brightly. The Lord had promised that for him and his children after him forever. When Jehoram was king over Judah, Edom refused to remain under Judah's control. Edom set up their own king. So Jehoram went to Zair. He took all his chariots with him. The men then surrounded him and his chariots' commanders. He got up at night and fought his way out, but his army ran back home. To this day, Edom has refused to remain under Judah's control. When Jehoram was Judah's king, Libnah also refused to remain under the control of Judah. The other events of Jehoram's rule are written down. Everything he did is written in the official records of the kings of Judah. Jehoram joined the members of his family who had already died. He was buried in the family tomb in the city of David. Jehoram's son Ahaziah became the next king after him. Ahaziah began to rule as king over Judah. It was in the 12th year that Joram was king of Israel. Joram was the son of Ahab. Ahaziah was the son of Jehoram. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king. He ruled in Jerusalem for 1 year. His mother's name was Athaliah. She was a granddaughter of Omri. Omri had been the king of Israel. Ahaziah followed the ways of the royal family of Ahab. Ahaziah did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, just as the family of Ahab had done. That's because he had married into Ahab's family. Ahaziah joined forces with Joram. They went to war against Hazael at Ramoth Gilead. Joram was the son of Ahab. Hazael was the king of Aram. The soldiers of Aram wounded King Joram. So he returned to Jezreel to give his wounds time to heal. The soldiers of Aram wounded him at Ramoth in his battle against Hazael, the king of Aram. Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, went down to Jezreel. He went there to see Joram. That's because Joram had been wounded. Ahaziah was the king of Judah. Joram was the son of Ahab. Proverbs 4. My son, listen to your father's teaching. Pay attention and gain understanding. I give you good advice, so don't turn away from what I teach you. I too was once a young boy in my father's house, and my mother loved me deeply. Then my father taught me. He said to me, take hold of my words with all your heart. Heed my commands, and you will live. Get wisdom and get understanding. Don't forget. Don't forget my words or turn away from them. Stay close to wisdom, and she'll keep you safe. Love her, and she'll watch over you. To start being wise, you must first get wisdom. No matter what it costs, get understanding. Value wisdom highly, and she'll lift you up. Hold her close, and she'll honor you. She'll set a beautiful crown on your head. She'll give you a glorious crown. My son, listen, accept what I say. Then you will live for many years. I instruct you in the way of wisdom. I lead you along straight paths. When you walk, nothing will slow you down. When you run, you won't trip or fall. Hold on to my teaching and don't let it go. Guard it well, because it is your life. Don't take the path of evil. Don't live the way sinners do. Stay away from their path and don't travel on it. Turn away from it and go on your way. Sinners can't rest until they do what is evil. They can't sleep until they make someone sin. They do evil just as easily as they eat food. They hurt others as easily as they drink wine. The path of those who do right is like the sun in the morning. It shines brighter and brighter until the full light of day. But the way of those who do what is wrong is like deep darkness. They don't know what makes them trip and fall. My son, pay attention to what I say. Listen closely to my words. Don't let them out of your sight. Keep them in your heart. They are life to those who find them. They are health to a person's whole body. Above everything else, guard your heart. Everything you do comes from it. Don't speak with twisted words. Keep evil talk away from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Keep looking right in front of you. Think carefully about the path that you feet walk on. Always choose the right ways. Don't turn to the right or left. Keep your feet from the path of evil. Psalm 122. I was very glad when they said to me, "Let us go up to the house of the Lord." Jerusalem, our feet are standing inside your gates. Jerusalem is built like a city where everything is close together. The tribes of the Lord go there to praise his name. They do it in keeping with the law he gave to Israel. The thrones of the family line of David are there. That's where the people are judged. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Say, may those who love you be secure. May there be peace inside your walls. May your people be kept safe. I'm concerned for my family and friends. So I say to Jerusalem, may you enjoy peace. I'm concerned about the house of the Lord our God. So I pray that things will go well with Jerusalem. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we have also forgiven our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.